What if your home paid your mortgage? What if instead of a housing payment eating 30% of your income every month, you had other people's rent covering it, so you could live for free or close to it while building equity in a property? That's house hacking. It's one of the most powerful personal finance moves available to regular people right now, and most people have never heard the term. You don't need to be rich to do it. You don't need to be a real estate expert. You just need to understand how it works and be willing to be a little unconventional. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what house hacking is, how to do it, and whether it makes sense for your situation. House hacking is the practice of buying a property, living in part of it, and renting out the remaining units or rooms to generate rental income that offsets or eliminates your housing cost. The most classic version: buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, what the industry calls small multifamily. Live in one unit, rent out the other units. The rent from those units covers your mortgage payment and potentially leaves money left over. Example: you buy a triplex. Your mortgage, insurance, and taxes come to $2,800 a month. You live in one unit. You rent the other two units at $1,200 a month each. Your rental income is $2,400 a month. Your out-of-pocket housing cost, $400 a month instead of $2,800. You just cut your housing expense by 86%. But house hacking isn't limited to multifamily properties. Other approaches: room rental in a single-family home. Buy a house with extra bedrooms and rent them out to roommates. Your roommate's rent reduces your mortgage payments significantly. ADU, accessory dwelling unit. Some properties have a detached garage apartment, basement unit, or in-law suite. You live in the main house and rent the ADU. The rental income offsets your mortgage. Short-term rental one side. If you have a duplex or separate space, rent it on Airbnb or VRBO for short-term rentals, which can generate higher income per night than a long-term tenant. Let me show you the financial picture in detail, because this is what should make your jaw drop. The owner-occupant financing advantage. When you buy a property as your primary residence, which you're doing with house hacking, you actually live there, you get access to the best financing terms available. FHA loans with 3.5% down payment, conventional loans with 3 to 5% down. The financing terms for investment properties, which require 20 to 25% down and have higher rates, are dramatically worse. So you're buying an income-producing property with 3.5% down instead of 25% because you're living there. That's a massive difference in barrier to entry. The wealth-building math. You're building equity in an appreciating asset. You're having someone else pay most of your mortgage, so almost all of your payment is going toward equity and amortization rather than being pure housing expense. You're generating rental income experience that teaches you real estate fundamentals, and you may eventually move out and convert the whole property to a rental, at which point your personal housing cost goes to zero and you have a performing rental property. Someone who house hacks from age 25 to 30 lives in a duplex with rents covering their housing, then buys their next home. They've built 5 years of equity in a property while spending almost nothing on housing. That's a 5-year head start on wealth building. Compare to renting. A renter paying $1,500 a month in rent spends $90,000 in rent over 5 years and builds zero equity. A house hacker living in a duplex with $400 a month out of pocket spends $24,000 in 5 years and builds equity in a real asset that has appreciated. The wealth divergence is significant. The property selection is where house hacking either works or doesn't. Here's the framework. What to look for. Small multifamily, 2 to 4 units, is the sweet spot for house hacking. 2 to 4 unit properties qualify for residential owner-occupant financing, meaning you can use FHA or conventional loans. 5+ units are commercial loans with different requirements. For a property to work as a house hack, you need the numbers to actually pencil. The income from the rental units needs to cover a meaningful portion of your housing cost. Before you make an offer, run the numbers. Total monthly PITE, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, plus any HOA fees equals your total housing cost. Expected rental income from non-owner occupied units at market rent equals your offset. Net out-of-pocket equals the difference. Talk to a local property manager or look at comparable rental listings to understand what market rent is for units similar to what you'd be renting. What to watch out for? Properties that require significant immediate renovation add upfront costs that can hurt the financial picture. Know what the property needs before buying. Local rental regulations. Some cities have rent control, strict tenant protection laws, or restrictions on short-term rentals. Know your local market rules before buying. The market. In some high-cost markets, even with 2 or 3 units of rental income, you're still paying significantly out of pocket. In more affordable markets, house hacking can generate positive cash flow, even including your unit. Where to find multifamily? MLS listings. Work with an agent familiar with investment properties. Zillow and Redfin. Filter for multifamily. LoopNet and Crexi. Commercial real estate sites that also list smaller multifamily. Driving for dollars. Physically driving through neighborhoods you're interested in, looking for smaller apartment buildings with for sale signs. The financing piece is what makes house hacking accessible, so let me be specific. FHA loan, 3.5% down payment, and the FHA allows the rental income from the other units to be used to help you qualify. You're required to live in the property, owner occupancy requirement, for at least 1 year. FHA requires mortgage insurance, MIP, an ongoing monthly cost, but for buyers with less capital, FHA makes house hacking accessible. Conventional loan with 5% down. For buyers with good credit, usually 620 plus, conventional loans at 5% down can work for owner-occupied multifamily. Better than FHA for buyers who qualify, because there's no permanent mortgage insurance once you reach 20% equity. VA loan. If you're a veteran or active duty military, VA loans are extraordinary for house hacking. 0 down payment, no mortgage insurance, and the VA allows purchase of multifamily properties as long as you occupy 1 unit. This is genuinely one of the best financial tools available for eligible veterans. USDA loan, 0 down in eligible rural and suburban areas. Less useful for multifamily in cities, but relevant for some house hackers in suburban markets. Working with the right lender. Not all loan officers understand house hacking. Work with a lender who has experience with investment properties or small multifamily. Ask specifically, can I use projected rental income from the other units to qualify? The answer should be yes with the right loan structure. Let's be real about the other side of this. House hacking means you're a landlord, and that comes with responsibilities. Tenant screening. This is the most important skill in landlording. Bad tenants can cost you far more than their rent in property damage, eviction costs, and stress. Learn how to screen. Pull a credit report and background check. Paid tenant screening services handle this. Verify employment income. Generally look for income of 3x monthly rent. Call previous landlords, not just the current one. Previous landlords have less reason to give a glowing review to get rid of a problem tenant. Trust your process, not your instincts about how nice someone seems. Lease agreements. Use a proper lease. Your state's landlord-tenant laws determine what must be in a lease. Use a state-specific lease template at minimum, or work with a local real estate attorney for a proper document. Maintenance. You're responsible for maintaining the habitability of your rental units. Responding to maintenance requests promptly is both a legal obligation and good business. Well-maintained properties retain good tenants. Living next door. The unique feature of house hacking that some people love and some people hate. You're living adjacent to your tenants. This makes you highly responsive to their needs. Good. And can also make it hard to establish professional distance. Tricky. Set clear expectations in the lease and in your communication style. Accounting. Track all income and expenses for your rental units separately. Rental income is taxable, but you have significant deductions: mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, depreciation, maintenance, management costs. Good accounting saves you real money at tax time. House hacking is not just a housing hack. It's the beginning of a real estate investing strategy, if you want it to be. After year 1, owner-occupant loan requirements typically require you to live in the property for at least 1 year. After that, you can move out, convert the whole property to rental, and retain the favorable loan terms you got as an owner-occupant. Now you have a fully rented income property with minimal cash invested. Repeat it. Buy your next primary residence using owner-occupant financing again. House hack that one too. Over 5 to 10 years, you've accumulated multiple properties, all purchased with small down payments, all partially or fully covered by rental income during your occupancy period. This is exactly how many ordinary people have built real estate portfolios without being wealthy investors or coming from money. The house hacking pathway is accessible, replicable, and genuinely wealth building. The long game, real estate compounds, appreciation, market value growth, loan paydown, equity buildup from tenants paying your mortgage, and cash flow, income above expenses, work together over time to create significant net worth for patient, consistent owners. House hacking might be the single best financial move available to someone in their 20s or 30s with a reasonable income and a willingness to be a little unconventional about their housing situation. You're building equity instead of paying someone else's mortgage. You're generating income that offsets your housing cost. You're building real estate knowledge and experience. And you're setting up future rental income for when you move on to your next place. The sooner you do it, the longer it compounds. Like and subscribe for wealth building content every week. Drop a comment. Are you in a market where house hacking seems viable? I'd love to hear your situation. See you next time.